Hey everyone, how's it going? I've got my dryer in the background, so of course I'm going to be coughing a bit during this video because I don't know, dry is irritating my chest. But yeah, I wanted to talk about something quite disturbing. But it really made me think about the larger psychological aspects of our society and how it operates. So first off, I was watching a video in which two white ladies were having a discussion, or at least one white lady or one white femme was having a discussion. I think the other one might be gender non-binary. So they were having a discussion, and one of them said, they were quoting Matt Walsh, paraphrasing Matt Walsh, and saying that a lot of black people probably enjoyed slavery. And I won't lie to you guys, usually when black issues are brought up, it kind of makes me numb, because the whole thing just fucking hurts so fucking much. We're literally the most hated people on the planet for absolutely, well, from what I can see, for absolutely no reason. So having to talk about stuff like this to begin with, or having to even think about stuff like this, it's a lot. But then it got me to thinking about how the world works psychologically. We live in a world where the people who are at the top of the pyramid are the neediest. They are the ones who need the most resources. They are the ones who need the most reassurance. They are the ones who need the most coddling, long term, to be able to survive. And that's the absolute truth. Whatever you have in this life, quite often, is what you require to survive 9 times out of 10. And I know people are going to say, oh, that's not true because there are people starving to death. But this is the thing. Your needs and wants are dependent upon your actions. If everybody wanted to be at a certain level, they would have been. Not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants to be at the top of the pyramid. But we are encouraged towards hoovering as much resources, stepping over as many people as possible, doing whatever we can to ascend up the ladder. So of course that comes with a lot of dishonorable behavior. Now, with regards to slavery, right, for me to even reason that, slavery is nothing to feel guilty about, or that, slaves even enjoyed what they went through, I don't understand personally how slaves could enjoy being sectioned over wanting to not be slaves, or being thrown into vats of boiling sugar to try to avoid being enslaved, or be having the life beaten out of you from sun up to sundown while you're picking produce for free, and being forced to sleep in fucking the worst conditions a person could be put through, and to go through that from generation to generation for centuries. I personally don't see how anybody can enjoy that, but all right. But what I was saying was that when you kind of make the arguments that that is nothing to be ashamed of, that slavery is nothing to be ashamed of, and that, some slaves even enjoyed being enslaved, when it gets to that, it angers me at first, right? But then it makes me realize, boy, you are really ashamed of what you've done, and you're really ashamed of what you benefit from, because there is no way in hell that you will delude yourself to that level if you were genuinely proud of your heritage and genuinely proud of where you came from. That is narcissism, by the way, to pretend like your victims enjoyed you abusing them. I think the whole point of abuse is that you don't enjoy it, right? Or at the very least, that you're taking agency away from someone else. It's you know, it's 9 times out of 10, if not all the time, people do not enjoy having their agency taken away. So for you to say that anybody would enjoy slavery or abuse or anything of that kind, it means that you know what you're doing is wrong, or you know what you've benefited from is wrong, and you're trying to reason that with yourself because you're trying to stop yourself from the deep pit of shame and worthlessness that you feel, not only from what you benefit from, but like intrinsic feelings of worthlessness as well. In a bid to crush that and quell those feelings or repress those feelings, you will pretend like not only is your abuse justified, but that people prefer you abusing them to you leaving them alone and letting them live their lives. And this is something that I see with so many other discussions that involve an imbalance of power in any way. I'm not going to run all the comparisons, but another comparison is like the targeted community, even though like the suffering that I go through as a TI or other people go through as TIs, quite frankly, is not on the same level as people who were enslaved centuries ago. It's not on the same level at all, and to pretend that it is just a fallacy. But a lot of perps make the same argument. They make the argument that being abusive to you, at some point they will try to convince themselves that, you know, you enjoy it or you like it, or, you know, because they know that what they're doing to you is so disgusting, they can't even bring themselves to acknowledge it head on, because if they have to acknowledge it head on, there's no telling what they might do to themselves or the people around them. So they have to act like you enjoy what's happening in a bid for them, in their minds, to remain straightforward and to remain within their own minds. They have to delude themselves like that. And, you know, for me, pretending like your victims enjoy your abuse, for me, it puts me in mind of, you know, there's this, you know, like I said before at the top of this video, we live in a society where the people at the top of the pyramid, those who have the most resources, though they are literally the neediest people on the planet. And a lot of people will say they're not, but they are. They are the neediest people on the planet. And they have completely hoodwinked the rest of us into convincing us that we're the ones who need them. And, you know, for abusers to pretend that victims like their abuse, that's a part of that. It's a part of abusers convincing themselves, or leeches convincing themselves that, or leeches or abusers convincing others that, the people being fed off of are the ones who need the people feeding off them. I don't know if that makes sense, but the people who are feeding off, the people who are feeding off others the most, right? i.e. the people who have the most privilege, the people who are feeding off others the most, they have successfully hoodwinked everybody into thinking, that the people being fed on, the rest of us, are the ones who need the people feeding off us. And this idea that we enjoy being fed off of or leached off of is actually a part of that. It's actually a part of that disinformation. It's a part of that propaganda. We're the ones feeding off you. We're the ones taking from you, but you need us. You need us to survive. When that's not the case at all. Like, if you really needed them, they wouldn't be taking from you. And they wouldn't be doing it to the point where they'd have to convince themselves that, we enjoy being fed off of by them. They wouldn't need to do that. And I feel like, to be honest, that's where the intrinsic worthlessness actually comes from. It comes from feeling like you cannot exist in the world as it is. and therefore you need more than other people. It's like the runt of the litter in reverse. It's like you're taking more than your fair share, because it takes more than one's fair share for you to actually sustain yourself. So that's probably part of where the intrinsic feelings of worthlessness comes from, because again, we live in a hierarchical system where the neediest people are the ones at the top, the ones who need the most resources, to feel like they're surviving. They're the ones who have the most power over everyone else, and they gain that power through displacing their emotions of innate worthlessness and needing more than their fair share just to function. They take that and then they project that onto the people that they're taking from. So in this sense, the narcissism, or this narcissism, becomes very, very easy to understand once you put it in that perspective. So literally, people will say anything to justify feeding off you and to convince you that you need to be fed off of in order to survive, when it's literally killing you. So again, I've heard perps say, when they're doing certain things to TIs, the TIs enjoy it. I've heard perps say it, right? I have heard perps say it. Just like this utter twat saying that, a lot of people enjoy slavery, or a lot of black people enjoy slavery. I've heard that argument before. If you're not crying, then you must be enjoying it, right? If you're not complaining, then you must be enjoying it. If you're not getting an enthusiastic no, then it's a yes. So it's basically consent in reverse. All these little tricks and tips, to try and convince yourself as a perpetrator, or as an abuser, or as a murderer, or as a killer, like all these little tricks to delude yourself that you're powerful when really you're the opposite. That you're just when really you're the opposite. Because again, the weight of the wrongdoing that you've committed is just too great. It's too great to fathom, and it's too great to comprehend. So you have to convince yourself that your abusers, that your abuse victims actually like what you do. So it used to make me angry. It really used to make me angry when people used to say some shit like that. But then I realized, well, you have an inherent feeling of worthlessness because you feel like you can't survive without the immense privilege that you have. Even though you don't know that's what's causing your worthlessness. And then on top of that, you feel even more worthless for the amount of cruelty it took just for you to have what you have. So of course you're going to say that shit. Of course, you're going to throw salt on, on already open wounds by talking about how much, our ancestors apparently loved slavery. I don't know. I've never heard of this. I've never heard of slavery being based upon giving people what they enjoy. I've never heard of that. But when you have an inherent feeling of worthlessness, that's what you do. That's what narcissism is. I never used to think that. I used to think that narcissism, like you genuinely think you're better than everyone else, but it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. And neither does this hierarchy that's been set up to kind of, that's been set up to rule humanity. This hierarchy has not been set up based on superiority or even feelings of superiority. It's been set up based on feelings of inferiority and people needing more than their fair share in order to function. I don't know if I'm making sense because it seems really, really jumbled, but it just feels like they enjoy something that they're not supposed to be, like they enjoy something that we purposely put down for them not to enjoy, and they're not, like, it just feels like it's more propaganda to justify the hierarchy that we live in right now. And don't get it twisted, right? Human beings are always going to need a hierarchy, but the truth of the matter is, right, is that if you're going to take more than your fair share, the idea is that you allocate it in a way that benefits all of humanity and not just yourself. And I'm sorry, but most of the people at the top of the pyramid have actually failed to do that. They've taken that as an opportunity to remake the world in their own image rather than make the world an actual better place. So again, when you think about it like that, talking about how people enjoy their abuse, that's when it becomes easier to understand. It's rooted in immense shame and feelings of worthlessness, not only from what they've done, but the inherent feelings within them that led to those actions being taken. So, I don't know how to feel right now, but I just know that it's very clear to me what's going on, and it's very clear to me how, the world ultimately functions. I don't know if I made any sense, but yeah, it's a horrible subject. It really is a horrible subject. And I'm not trying to connect it to TIs or slavery of, the African Holocaust or anything like that. Like, I'm not trying to tie it together to kind of make it look like they're both the same, because it's just not on the same level at all. Because the African Holocaust or Black Holocaust is still going on, like, outside of TIs. In fact, it's an integral part of COINTELPRO and all that shit anyway. So, like, I'm not pretending like it's comparable, but I'm just saying that I noticed that being said whenever there is an abuse of power. I notice that all the time. I know there's so much propaganda that goes into justifying abuse and justifying all kinds of heinous acts, not only throughout history but today. And what I feel like the rest of us have to stop doing is we have to stop allowing the sense of shame of the people that are feeding off us to dictate how we feel about ourselves. We've got to stop doing that. We've got to stop doing that. We really do. Don't know if I made sense though. I've had my Wi-Fi off for like the whole day. I didn't even notice I had my Wi-Fi off. Been napping on and off the whole day. Ain't been doing shit. I did my readings yesterday. I did the readings for today yesterday. So like today I didn't really have anything on. I've got readings to do tomorrow. I've got the full moon in Vishaka reading to do tomorrow, which is going to be fun. I'm supposed to be voting tomorrow, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I can be bothered. The elections are going to be rigged anyways. I might vote. I don't know. Because Lord Russell Moyle actually did help me, so I might vote. I don't know, but my government haven't said anything about the Havana syndrome stuff, and that I talked to them about, and they haven't said anything about the electronic torture, and they haven't said anything about the corruption that Mind have been a part of, that I have evidence for. They haven't said anything about the Charity Commission ignoring complaints about Mind. So they haven't said anything about any of that. But I don't know if I'm going to vote. But I do know that there's going to be a reading tomorrow at 4. Full moon in Vishaka. So join me for that on Empress Justice Tarot IG. British summer time, 4 o'clock. Speaking of the Charitable Commission, I find it funny that some of the most prominent perps, or not prominent, but some of the most significant perps that I have had targeting me have been from Liverpool. Guess where the Charity Commission is based? So first off, right, when I first came to Brighton 3 years ago, and it was in August, so it was almost 3 years ago, when I was living in the hostel. Back in August, when I was being defrauded one of the payments came back to Liverpool. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that one of the people that I befriended in the hostel that turned out to be a fucking creep, he also came from Liverpool. And now I'm dealing with some neighbours here that come from Liverpool that are racist as fuck. That's also, they're also Liverpudlian. So I'm kind of connecting the dots, and I'm thinking that, wait a minute, because I was just thinking of this. I'm thinking, isn't that down to the Charity Commission? Isn't that like the perp's way of making fun of me for complaining to the Charitable Commission about Mine's corruption, and Brent Mine's corruption in particular? And about how like a lot of Brent Mine staff fucking covered up for people that were harassing me, and basically covered for them and covered for their bullshit, even though I had evidence. So I'm thinking, it's a bit suspicious. It's a bit suspicious. I don't think these people were placed here to necessarily keep tabs on me, on behalf of the Charitable Commission, because even for gang stalkers, that's too fucking far-fetched. But I think, because we all know how street theatre works, they will put certain types of people in front of you to make reference to something that you've done in the past that's significant, or, to remind you of results you didn't get, something like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, the handlers will do shit like that. They will put certain types of people in your way to kind of reinforce prejudice, which is why I say that gang stalking reinforces prejudice. And gang stalking is partially responsible for the rise of fascism. So I feel like the fact that so many of my perps, the most important perps have been Liverpudlians since I've been down here. I feel like that's a reference being made by the people on my case about the Charity Commission that I complained to when I was back in London. I complained to the Charity Commission, and the Charity Commission are based in Liverpool, and I complained to them about Brent Mine's activities. So I just found that really, really funny. I just thought it was a bit of a funny coincidence, but but again, that's what the gang stalkers behind the scenes do. So you've got the perps, but the perps are not just perps. They're not just people sent to be weaponized irritants. They're also symbols sent by people who are in charge of the case. They're used to symbolize something to the targeted individual. So really the conflict is not between the targeted individuals and the perps that are bothering them. Truth be told, right? If there are any feuds going on right here and now, the feud, technically speaking, is not between me and them. It's between me and the people who hired them. As a targeted individual, whatever street theatre is conducted, people are told to do. There are people who are specifically hired to be punchlines. There will be people fatter than me that are hired to tell me or say something about my weight. There will be people who are connected to a particular culture, to someone else that I had beef with, to try to reinforce some sort of bigotry. And in this case, with case of Liverpudlians being really prominent in my targeting, that could easily be referenced to the Charity Commission, even though I don't know. It could easily be referenced to the Charity Commission, or it could be reinforcements of the more prominent perps in my life to try to incite triggering. So the perps themselves are punchlines. They don't know or care that they're punchlines. But really the war of words is going on between me and people that I don't really, and people that I haven't really seen. That's who the real battle is going on between. Whereas these perps right now, they're being used as pawns in order to try to get to us. They're being used as pawns and as punchlines and as and as symbolic references. So I feel like that the Liverpudlian connection is about the charity commission. And when the time is right, I'll show you some letters that I actually sent to them. That's if they're not already on Facebook. I might show you some letters. You know, but that's that's a possibility. I'm not saying it's right, but it's a possibility. When it comes to my Wi-Fi, I think my neighbors have been using my Wi-Fi. I'm not entirely sure how they got the code, because the thing is, my code is not on the modem. So I'm not entirely sure how they got the code. There's no way they could have got the code for the Wi-Fi unless they've been in here. Because even though the code is not on the modem, the code is on somewhere else that I actually leave in here. I'm not going to say what it is yet. But I feel like, you know, my neighbors have been using my Wi-Fi, and that certainly explains why it's been so fucking slow, but okay. So I feel like my neighbors have been using my Wi-Fi. Again, this is conjecture. It's not, I don't know for sure. But I think they've been using it, and I think that's why they haven't really, I think that's part of the reason they haven't really been here like that. I think the other reason is that it's actually quite sunny outside right now. It's quite warm. Well, for Britain anyway, it's quite warm. So, you know, that could be another reason. But yeah, I think they've been using the Wi-Fi. I think they've been using it. And I think that's why every time I turn it off, yeah. You know, so, yeah. I got to talk more about the Wi-Fi another time, because there are things that I found out about that thing that I wanna actually tell people about. But for now, I'm gonna go. I've rabbited on enough about connections and conspiracies and shit, so I'm gonna go. You guys take care of yourselves. I love you. Peace and blessings. For those who are interested, please join me on Empress Justice Tarot Instagram for the full moon in Vishaka tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm gonna have a fresh new haircut, because it's about fucking time I had a haircut in this bitch. I'm so, you know, I love my hair, don't get me wrong. The texture of my hair is beautiful, but it's like the in-between stages. It's the in-between stage that's a lot to manage. If it was longer, I'd be able to cope with it. But it's in the in-between stage where it's just a lot. So I'd rather just keep it short. So yeah, I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. And I am going to be doing the full moon reading tomorrow. So hopefully I'll see you guys then. And peace and blessings. Stay strong, my fellow TIs. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.